Author Tanya Anderson Dell has fought the government for 15 years, looking for missing U.S. airmen that went down in a crash over 66 years ago in Alaska, serving their country. She joins me now to share her story and I think the important part, the continual fight that this has become. Tanya, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing very well.
So I kind of just glazed over the surface there. We're talking 66 years ago. Your family was impacted because this deals with your grandfather. What's the story all about? What happened?
For me, it started out for a flag for my grandmother. My grandfather went missing, and she hoped that one day he'd walk back through the door.
Yeah.
He never did. And so she told me I'm ready for a flag now. So I started my research looking for him, and I learned that it was a lot bigger than that. And so I started my journey to look for my grandfather and learned that he was what they call a non-war loss. And that means that because he was not missing in action, there was no government agency to look for them. So which fueled my fire to find my grandfather and the missing 51 other soldiers on that plane with him.
And so again, just because the plane crash was not dealing with war at the time, that's why they had this distinction, is that correct?
After the initial search, if they don't find that plane, the government has no agency that will continue to look for them like you do soldiers that are missing in action. And these soldiers are not missing in action. And so what I did was I started my nonprofit that would allow me to venture out and find the rest of these soldiers that are on our government soil or overseas that are what they call operational loss.
And I hate to say this, but I think this is the truth. People don't know that this exists. This is a problem, the non-war loss individuals that you're talking about, unless your family is impacted.
That is correct.
Like you've been. And now you're meeting other families that are in the same kind of situation, right?
Correct. Since I've brought my grandfather home, I've had several people reach out to me asking me, hey, can you just put your name on a letter, help us find our soldier? I ran an accident report about a C-54, and there's a family member on there. She was a wife, she was pregnant, and she had a daughter. Her husband was already at the station. They were going over. Their plane crashed in Alaska, and they're asking for my help. And there's stories like that that pulled to me, that tugged to me, because I understand what it is to want closure and bring your soldier home.
And not just a foundation, you've actually shared your story in a book now, right?
That is correct. It's called Gifts from a Glacier, Quest for an American Flag and 52 Souls. And it starts out about the American flag for my grandmother, and those 52 souls tells about my hard work from the beginning, going on Capitol Hill to fight for these soldiers, to bringing them home, naming the mountain peak that they crashed into, and bringing closures to some of those families.
Now, you talked, of course, about being on Capitol Hill. I mean, this has been a big fight for you, and in a way, maybe, has kind of defined your path in life and given you a different purpose.
Yes, it has. It's given me a purpose of giving back. I understand what it is for these families to want closure, and Honored Bound will allow me to be able to do that and bring closure to other families who are out there just like me. And I tell them, do not give up hope.
And while I will say do not give hope, you do have an ending with your story, some closure. Explain where you are today.
My grandfather was missing for 66 years, and last month on May 18th, we were able to bring him home. And he came back to Tampa, Florida, after being missing for 66 years. And we never thought that one day we'd bring him home. And here we are having this story that he actually made it home.
Your grandmother just wanted the flag. Did she get the flag?
She died before I was able to get the flag, so I have it for her, and I hold on to it every day.
Do you feel like in some ways, too, it's closure for your grandmother, too, since she is now passed, that you have been able to bring them together and have their bodies here in the Bay Area?
For me, it was closure for my father. He's still here, and he was able to see his father going home. He was only 1 year old when his father went missing, so he knows nothing about him.
Wow.
And he had a chance to go to Arlington, and my father said, he's been missing for all this time. Let's bring him home.
Let's bring him home.
Yes.
Good for you. Keep up the good work. You say that a second book is in the works as well. Where can people go for more information and maybe talk with you if they need help?
They can go to Honored Bound, and they can also go to Amazon, and it's Gifts from a Glacier. And I'm thinking of my second book because my grandfather has now come home, and I want to add him into the second book and what these families need to do to fight and to bring these soldiers home.
Good for you. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much for sharing with us
Thank you for telling my story.